pick up a couple. He's still going. Butler over in the corner. That's the line, over the line he rolls. It's in the vice. We were worried.
But we did it.
Yeah, has it got? They say that it's got new footings.
That's right. Yeah. So it's got a more of a more concrete, stable footings. Actually, Gonzo Ortez did most of the work on that, and so we're really fortunate to have the amount of hours that he did on that last year.
We are a little bit delayed. We're looking for around a 3:25 kickoff. They've not come out yet. They're doing it in their own time. Obviously, they got the lights here, and I must say as well, if you look. The camera can be a little bit deceiving because it looks like an absolutely stunning day, but you can just see the old gum trees moving around. A northerly wind, as a local to this area, you knew which way was north better than I did. But a northerly wind, and I did say to you before we came on air, and I just wanted to touch on it again, depending on which way you go in which half, this will just amplify Kurt McKinley's big left foot.
Yeah, absolutely. If anyone knows how to get the benefit out of the wind, it's going to be Kurt on this ground, and which every inch of the sideline he knows. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, and just seeing the Woodville team come out, there's some experience in that team, and I haven't really managed to speak to any of the Woodville players before this one, but the likes of Matty Connor coming back into the side and
really
seeing Graham Gibson run around as well, and Bluey is on the bench as
yeah.
backup halfback. I'm not sure what it is. Idea who that Gerard something, isn't it? I have no idea. Bluey.
Yeah.
Just Bluey. And Onkaparinga coming out in the traditional red and black hoops. We also tried a little bit to go with the all red shirt. We love that with your 50th anniversary.
Yeah, that was really something special, and actually was really good that we were able to then auction that off later on, which gave old legends in our club the opportunities to auction or to buy their number. Made for a good end to our event.
But back to the traditional red and black hoops. Now, we've seen Onkers a couple of times this year. We saw them up at Port Adelaide quite early in the season.
That's right.
They came out winners of that one, and easily so. Then we saw them down at Adelaide University, and that one was just didn't really have to get out of second gear at any point in that one. And Woodville again today, who look like they're just a little bit short of numbers. There's only 2 on the bench for them. So, again, whether it's a positive thing or a negative thing, you might not have to get out of second gear in this one.
Yeah, look, I hope that we can continue to play our natural game, and certainly as we're getting into the second half of the season, that's what we want to do.
So we are kicked off, and Onkaparinga will kick into the teeth of the wind in the first half, and then into the sun as well. And I have to say that sun in the second half, when it drops down a bit, that's going to be an interesting hurdle for Woodville in the second half. The first line out of the day will go to Onkaparinga, and Martin Van Eyck in at hooker. It'll be very disappointed that Instagram have got rid of the likes on their posts.
Yes, that's right.
Stolen by Woodville. So they will get to see them use the ball first. Big new second row Kuranawe, who we've not seen before. Craig Kuranawe. And they will go out to Adcock. There's 2 Adcocks out there today, Lewis and Lindsay. Again into Kuranawe. They've obviously decided they're going to run a lot of the big fella stuff through him. Now it will go out. Short ball, but intercepted, and easy as that, Onkaparinga will score the first try, and that will be Farsoa. I don't think he'll get many easier than that through the year. Very impressive when we went down to Adelaide University, Farsoa. He's
yes, and he's been a new addition to us, and come across from New Zealand, and he's fit in really well with our club culture, I think, and we love to see him here.
He looked very, very good in that game we saw, and just read the play very, very well on that one. Troy Doughty back in the where we used to seeing him at halfback. We saw him at 10. As he will knock that one through. We saw him at 10 at Port Adelaide. He was away in Japan, I think.
That's right.
For the Adelaide University game, but now back seeing him in the number 9 shirt.
Yeah, he's been away to Japan. I'm not sure if it was for that uni game, but definitely he's come back not long ago.
I think he was there. You just see the Onkaparinga players with their hands up to the sun. It is bright today.
Yes.
Just hear that wind whistling through as well, and it's pretty constant and consistent. It's not swirly. Good restart by Woodville, and Adcock will gather the contestable restart. Reynolds sends it into midfield. Reynolds will find Price. Price will just rumble forwards towards the 22. Hands on and not releasing, and it's a good jackal. I think that's Takiri who's got his hands on. It's a challenging day for both of the kickers, this one.
Yeah, especially into the wind right now.
And just see how the wind
Curved
pulls
around.
it back.
Yeah, it really did, didn't it?
I mean, the first one would just be a sighter to just work out what it's doing and how much you have to adjust the things. And so Van Eyck again will put the ball into the lineup. Missed the first target. And talk about the difficulty of the conditions. It's going to be just as bad for the hookers today. Farsoa does well, then Reynolds will.
Nice one, yeah.
Sorry, Doughty will send it into midfield, and Tommy McCall comes hard off the shoulder. No arms out, very well timed by Nope. By position, just no real advantage, so it'll be a scrum just inside the Onkaparinga half. It's something we see a lot with Onkaparinga. I think we've done a number of Onkaparinga games over the year, and I don't think we've seen the same 9-10 combination in 2 games.
Yeah, I think the new coaching has certainly changed some of the selections, and obviously they've got their own reasons for why they do that and how they do that, and it's certainly it's broadened our player group and who plays where and who's available for different key positions.
So midfield scrum, they split. Doughty does very well, but the arm is out. I think he's gone too early. They have, and Connor will go. Picks out McKinley. If we get a second, we'll talk about McKinley. We had a nice little chat about him before the game.
Yeah, it's good to see him back.
Guest. This isn't his first game back, is it?
No.
He's had a couple back now. Oh, another nearly an intercept. No advantage from that one, so it'll be a scrum down. So must have been round 1. Kurt McKinley fractured his eye socket.
That's right. Yeah. So
And
so went down very, very heavily down by the opposition players' box, and yeah, so it was rushed off to Flinders Hospital there and looked after, and he's done his time out and made sure he's got himself right and kept fit.
Because, like we said right at the beginning of the season when we heard the news, and we thought it would be season over for him, but he's worked back, and there's been a countdown on his social media as to how long he's going to be ready to go. But we did talk about the fact that facial injury means you can do everything else.
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys that's always making sure he stays fit, and certainly was able to still run once he felt right, and he was able to stay training and get himself back into the squad.
So another penalty for off the feet, and see whether Woodville can use this wind. Certainly see it carry, and it took a bounce in the car park as well and went for another 50 yards. So the wind has to be an advantage when it's at your back from a kicking point of view. stolen by Onkaparinga. Again, a little bit messy, but McKinley will put it on the boot. Just look at that hold up in the air.
Wow. And we're still able to get a fairly good purchase.
Yes. A gifted left foot that McKinley has. Lineouts have been scrappy. The whole game's been a little bit scrappy up until this point. They decide to change things around. Roast manages to shake away from the first one. Does very well on the ground as well. Now Reynolds will just have a little bit of a snipe himself. Support comes. Pick and drive. Adcock does well to clear out. Oh, counter ruck from Onkers was good, but side entry. A number of penalties at the tackle ruck maul situation for Onkaparinga is starting to ramp up a little bit.
Yeah, no, we're certainly losing the penalty count at the moment.
So it looks like they're going to go for goal at this point. Looks like it's about 40 metres out on the angle. Well, it would be more than that, probably about 43 with the angle, but it's one of those days you just need to get it online and let the wind do the work.
Yeah, I think so.
But you wonder whether that's, is this the kind of day that Woodville want? They want a scrappy day. They want to just try and get Onkaparinga on the back foot, because we know how classy Onkaparinga are.
Yeah, I think Woodville are fighters. They always have been, and I mean that in a clean sense. That they've always, as a club, come out in whatever numbers they can possibly come out and dish it out as best they can. So this is no different.
Sent on its way, just never came back. Had the distance. I mean, looking at that and the carry, I mean, he could kick from halfway and have the distance. That was Graham Gibson on his front holding the ball. Did I see a social media video of a very interesting ball hold from Onkaparinga recently?
Oh, I'm not sure about that one.
I thought it was Onkaparinga. Roast again. And does well on the ground, but again scrappy, and another penalty. Another penalty at the tackle situation. Possibly a little bit of afters as well, but just wants to chat. I did see legs come up. I don't know whether there was any intent in it. Interestingly as well, I did see some communication through the week from World Rugby as well. They've just tidied up the language with regards to high tackles and stuff, and made it really, it will have come out to the clubs as well.
Yeah. And
just tightened it up and taken out, that could be a great kick unless it's gone all the way through, and I think it has gone all the way through.
Wow.
So
it's a double-edged sword, the old wind today.
Well, just so people at home understand, it's basically blowing from the top right corner of the pitch, and it's almost blowing straight into our faces.
Yeah.
So it's coming right across on a diagonal. So kicking to that far touchline, you've really got to not let the wind bring it back in field.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're so used to having a south westerly coming in rather than a northerly. So that's normal. The Onka doctor is the southwest.
Flat ball again. Is it going to bounce to Fitzgerald? It is. Van Asvegen did well, and Fitzgerald just kind of threw it away. But they've got the knock on.
Little knock on, yep.
We just heard Mr. Jackson say I can turn it into a penalty if you don't believe me. Obviously some arguing about whether it was a knock on or not. As a traditional Onkers shout,
yeah,
you can hear.
That's the foghorn.
She was very proud she got on camera at Port Adelaide. Another penalty. Just trying to see who that was who went to ground. I think that was Harding.
Yeah, it could have been.
going against Tom Price. Jared Byrne is the name of Bluey. Speaking of classy props, I just noticed that Aaron Tawera is watching, played a lot of his rugby down here.
Ah, good stuff.
One of the better props I've seen play in South Australia, Aaron.
Definitely, and always brought a lot of technical aspects to scrummaging when he was in our team and helping out other props. Ooh.
Turned over again. Looked like it could have been a little bit of a high one, but all the arms and flags stay down. Troy Doughty and Matt Connor resuming pleasantries. Again, Woodville trying to just make things scrappy and slow for this Onkaparinga side. It's going to go back to McKinley. He'll drop it on the left foot. It's again a good leg through it. Fitzgerald had a look, but Wilkins was chased well. Just have a look at that tackle again. Kind of ducked into it, but again, we talked about them tightening up. There is no ducking into it. It's just high.
Yeah, and it's sort of hard there, I suppose, where the hands went over and then made contact with his back or the back shoulders. So
they're just trying to get rid of all contact with the head. So if he is down, he does duck into it. No, he didn't land very well either.
No.
Just wants to have a chat with Tommy Price. Looks a bit ginger, but he's made of tough stuff, is Troy Doughty. It would have to be a big one for him to come off.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he wouldn't be giving too much away to the trainer there either.
No, no. Long chat. Yeah. We see it again. It's just as he ducks down and then he gets folded in and then ends up on his head. Again, they've gone for that short one without the lift, just to try and clean it up, I think, and they've done well. Gibson. Another penalty. Adcock will go and is brought back. There's people on the floor, so that's why we're going again. So they'll slow things down a bit. I think they've asked for posts. Yeah, so they will go for goal. I mean, they're in great position to see this one.
With this wind, it's very kickable, isn't it?
It certainly is. Aim at that right-hand post and let the wind do its work. Don't have to do a huge amount with it, I wouldn't have thought. But if we look back on the first 15 minutes of this game, I mean, they had the intercept and Farsoa scored the try.
That's right.
Other than that, it's pretty much been all Woodville.
It's been all down in this half, hasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, we really haven't seen too much in the other side of the halfway.
I think, but that's, I mean, the wind is going to be a little bit of a factor of that, but and he does exactly what we said he was going to do, and that one goes all the way through. So that will be 7 points to 3, as we said, with about 15 minutes gone. Just a little bit more than 15 minutes. But yeah, Onkaparinga just haven't really been able to put anything together.
No, we just need to get our discipline right, obviously. I think Peter's made that pretty clear, so see if we can't get that bit right and get up the other end.
So Doughty will restart. This is where the wind becomes your friend, because that will just hang in the air. Adcock goes up. Farsoa goes with him. Farsoa will make the tackle and Reynolds will tidy it up. Price is at the back, has a look, decides he likes the near side. He'll scramble for another yard. Now Reynolds will go to Roast. Roast will put it on the boot. Where's that going to land? Lands in field. Van Asvegen has to deal with it. I think he carried it back in, so has to go. Done very well. Now Devine will step inside. Brought down by Adcock, now to McKinley. Then they'll fire it out to the far side to Matthews. Nice little offload back inside to Evans. Doughty will find his way there. Van Asvegen will stand at first receiver. That's a wonderful tackle from Adcock. Martin van Eyck chopped down. Now they will look on that other far side to Keary. Better from Onkaparinga as he starts to put some phases together. Doughty has a little snipe, can't quite get through. Almost got himself in that horrible position again. To Keary, who will just bite off a yard. Van Eyck will do the same. Out to McKinley. McKinley steps back inside, shakes out of the first tackle, can't quite get away from Rose, but has Farsoa. Farsoa met by a couple of wasps. Doughty will look to the far side. Good hands out to Matthews. Now Matthews has got a bit of time and space. Steps inside. And just like that, Onkaparinga will just manage to find a second try. And probably the first time all game, Matt, that we've seen them put some phase play together.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, we seen that possession where we kept holding on to possession each ruck and maul, and slowly got into a position where obviously we could pass it out.
So 12 points to 3 with the kick to come. It's got to be demoralising for the boys in green and yellow, because they've done a heck of a lot of work, and then finally they managed to, Onkaparinga managed to put some phases together. Good hands on the outside and good finish by Matthews. Just see Liam Smith in the background. That is a interesting hairstyle he's gone with.
No, he's always had some sort of hairdo or some description, whether it be the some sort of a mullet or.
So 14 points to 3. Woodville will restart. Left-footed, and that will hang, and Adcock is not there to contest this time, and Onkaparinga will come away with it. Out to Devine. He will manage to make some yards after contact. Then Doughty sends it out into midfield to McKinley. Good tackle by Lindsay Adcock. Out to McKinley again, then missed out to Van Asvegen, now to Wilkins. Wilkins has got some time and space, steps back inside. The step back inside allowed Fitzgerald to get to him. Fitzgerald has done very, very well and jackled that one and turned it over. Woodville will now go into midfield. Doughty gets away with that, and he has got away with that. I don't think he came through the gate, but all's fair in love and war, Matt.
Yep.
And Onkaparinga will turn it over. Farsoa again will run into midfield. Big and strong and still going. Then will look to get his hands free. Just couldn't find Van Eyck. So McCall is slow to get up. He's up finally. Gibson is slow to get up. Well, Farsoa ran into Kuranawe, who's a fair hunk of human.
Yeah.
And managed to shake him off. It's another long chat between Tom Price Mr. Jackson and the referee, and Matt Connor. Kinley will drive that one down towards that supporters platform down there. So they're inside the 22. Lots and lots of field to work with. I think we're going to see a lot of 2 ball today.
Yeah, definitely.
Looking to get that drive going. Doughty will snipe and he will be successful. You can't rest on your laurels when Troy Doughty's around. He will go and score another one for the men from Wilfred Taylor Reserve.
Yeah, he's just never going to pass that ball when there's an inside man coming through. So as soon as that happens, there's always a gap on an angle.
Just got all a bit messy, really. And when it got messy, that's when Doughty saw the gap and off he went. And 2 people went a little bit too high on him and he dots it down under the post. And 19 points to 3 with the kick to come. And Guest just over pursued somewhat and tried to cover the outside. And the flags go up, 21 points to 3. As we get close to 25 minutes, it's been an interesting half so far.
Yeah, it looks like Onkaparinga may have cleaned up some of that discipline that obviously needed to be cleaned up by the referee. So looks like we're getting into less penalties, which is good. More rugby.
Everyone loves a bit of rugby, don't we?
Oh yeah. So Dave, we've had some sad news this week with Onkaparinga when we had one of our founding members, Colin Talbot, and his funeral this week. And he actually was our first ever president of this club and founding member, as I said, and also our first ever life member. So yeah, very sad for all the people around Onkaparinga.
It's been a rough month for Onkaparinga, I think.
Yeah, it really has, you know, and we've had the same experience with our treasurer, Daniel Jovanovic, who you know, sadly passed away quite young.
Divine didn't quite take that with him. Fudge, he shouts as he goes through. So another scrum, and this way the scrum will go towards Woodville, and I think, to be honest, Woodville have had the lion's share of it in the scrummaging. He just wants to have a chat with the captains. Not sure whether he's close enough for us to hear. But it did, I mean, he's just sort of saying to both the captains, just calm it down a bit. It is starting to feel like it's just simmering somewhat.
Yeah, I think it's good refereeing. It's always good to just calm everything down, and you know, all the players are now at the back and they're talking about their game plans, and their game plans are about rugby. It's not about anything silly. So it just gets everyone back into the real mindset of playing rugby.
Yeah, so both of them have just gone and had a chat with the forwards, and yeah, like we said, I think if you're honest, Woodville have had the better of the scrummaging so far. It's a very experienced front row for Woodville, but obviously Onkers have got big Tom McCall, Martin Van Eyck and Harding in there. It's a real battle on that front row.
It's a beautiful thing.
And again, look, Harding has lost his footing, and that's never going to work. Reynolds will put that into ground. He's going to bobble in front of Van Aswegen. He does very, very well, and will manage to get outside to Matthews. Matthews will then put it on the foot inside.
Oh, wow.
Van Asvegen does very, very well. Skill set that wouldn't have gone amiss at Adelaide Oval last night from those two. Wilkins will step into 9 and then an inside line. Adcock again will come across. Doughty sends it to McKinley. McKinley with a flat ball to Van Eyck. Van Eyck offloads to McCall. 4 green offside. Doughty looks to go, does go. Shows inside, meanders across and then just can't find the hands. I'm just trying to see if I think that's White. He just missed.
Yeah, I think that's right. Hard to see with the sun's in our eyes now.
Certainly is on the horizon. It's all become a little bit stop-start at the moment. It looks like there's a change here for Woodville. Wonder whether it's an enforced change. Trying to see who's... well, Tommy McCall's gone off. I don't know whether he managed to shake off that knock he took in front of us. So Tom McCall's gone off and John Roaster's gone off. So changes less than half an hour into the game, and I don't think either of them was tactical. And another scrum. Tommy Price, it does seem that he's giving Harding a hard time. Oh, got a bit messy at the back. Penalty. For high? I don't quite understand the signal. He signalled high, but Woodville had the ball, so I don't know what's...
Unless it was something to do with the bind.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Hard to tell. So we are looking right into this, son. Waiting for the ball. Finds its way back eventually to Van Eyck. Certainly driving Maul territory again. Varso will bring it down. Do look to get it moving, but Woodville have done well. Kind of stopped it. Ball is at the back in the hands of Van Eyck. Now Matthews has got his hands on. Over they go. The arms go up. And most importantly, so does Mr. Jackson's. Wasn't much question of that. It was 5 meters out and they got very, very organised very, very quickly. I don't know whether Matthews got it off Van Eyck. I don't think he did. I think it was Van Eyck who came up with it. Riley Matthews was doing his best to steal it from him.
Marty doesn't give him up easily.
I wouldn't have thought so. I think there are easier things to do than to try and take a ball off a forward at the back of a maul. Probably the most difficult kick that Doughty has had today. Drives it. And wind will push it across the front and the flags stay down. So we will stay 26 points to 3. Well, 10 minutes to go in this half. And Adcock will look to restart again. That one is deep. Adcock manages to get hold of an ankle. But it will be an Onkaparinga ball. Out the back to Devine. Nice offload to Takiri. Doughty to McKinley has an inside option, and the option is Farsoa. He will manage to shake away from one, but can't get away from Adcock. McKinley into midfield. Out to Wall, then out to Wilkins. Wilkins steps back inside, rolls out of the tackle as well, and footwork has done very, very well. Hunt finally got him, but he'd beaten 4 before he gets to that point. Takiri sends it into midfield, then into Devine. The groans from the crowd tell you that they don't think it was forward, but the man in the middle with the whistle said it was. Pazynski, I think, in the centres, wearing the number 12. Seen him a couple of times, but
yeah, Leon's new for us at the club. Come across from New South Wales. Brings some stability to us in that centres, I reckon.
But it will be a Woodville scrum, bang in front of us. Solid from Woodville again. Reynolds at the back. Gatehouse has moved to first 5. Ball is loose and Devine will pick it up, but met by Hunt. Finally managed to face his way to ground. There is Pazynski. And they will look far side. White steps back inside. Run down from behind eventually by Norton. And turned over. Short ball, and Woodville again just trying to take bits off in bite-sized chunks, and now they do get the penalty. It does appear that once Woodville get on a little bit of a roll, that's when the penalties start from Onkaparinga.
Yeah, I think so. And things like hands in the ruck there, we just need to get on top of that.
Well, there we see the full effect of the wind. All the way down to at least the 22, I think. Just outside the 22.
Yeah, I think so.
Again, they will go to 2 Fosso and manage to spoil it a little bit. It ends up going out, but it will go out off an Onkaparinga hand. So Woodville should have the choice. And they're going to go with the scrum. You would think they would take the scrum in conditions like this.
Yeah, I think it was knocked forward in the line out there. So
it will be a Woodville scrum. Lots of room to play with. They decide to go blind. Connor will pick it up and go. Now they will look back to this side. Reynolds will find Gatehouse. He will get to ground finally. Yeah, you're going to do well to get away with that, gentlemen. 1 not rolling away, and 2 over and then the second one went bang over the top. Another chat with the captains. I think his patience now is wafer thin. Matt?
yeah, we've got to be careful, especially down this end of the field. Start getting close to that red zone.
I think that's Kane Guest who's come on in front of us. They'll go for posts again. And do we know who they replaced Tom McCall with?
I'm not 100%. I haven't seen, but it's Curtis Wainwright, I think.
So Adcock will look to add on 3 points just to bring the deficit down a bit. Sends it on its way. Flags stay down. You can just hear that the wind has picked up. And is it me or is it shifted as well?
Yeah, look, it's a little bit coming into our faces, so it's just...
So it'll be a 22 dropout. Hangs up, and Matt Connor, I don't think he was shaping for the drop goal. I don't think you're going to fool many people with that, Matt. Out to Adcock, and then Hunt will just knock it on all the way through, and it will be an Onkaparinga scrum. They'll have time for the scrum and possibly a bit more. Now there's the centre field, so it will open up a big blindside for them. I think that's Woolridge White.
That's right.
That's a good scrummage from Woodville. It's gone round the 90 though, so we'll just reset. That's a formidable pack, isn't it, from for Woodville?
Yeah, they're definitely stable.
I mean, Graham Gibson at prop and Kuranawe in the second row, they almost look like peas from the same pod, build-wise. Shove comes on, but a little bit too late. McKinley out to Pazinski. Manages to get his hands free. Thought better of it. Connor will get him. Doughty to Van Aswegen. Then to White. Dropped the second one. Another one with a 4-letter outburst because he dropped it. There is Kuranawe. He's a fair amount of human.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it'll be another scrum. This one will be in Woodville's favour. Right in the shadows of half time, but it has been a bit bitty, so we're expecting that there's going to be some stoppages. He got a toe to it. A wrap around to Gatehouse just didn't quite go to hand, and White will get there. Now they've got a 2-on-1. Wall and Wilkins. Wilkins will put the ball on the foot, turn it into a foot race, which Gatehouse is going to win. Then Gatehouse will put his foot to it. Wall sits underneath it. Can't gather it in, but it does go backwards. Then they will go out to Van Aswegen, looking to build a counter-attack. Takiri brings it back on the angle. And offloads to Farsoa, who shakes the first tackle, and then he will go over. Looks like he might bookend the half with a try at the beginning and a try at the end of it. He is an impressive young man.
Yeah, he just brings that speed to the forward pack, doesn't he? So he's able to come onto that and use his pace to break through, and once he's in space.
But he's evasive as well. He runs through the first tackle and then untouched he'll go underneath the posts. Looks like he's almost purpose built for sevens. I think he was just asking his time. He was asking whether that would be it. But I'm a bit impressed with the work of those two. We just saw them on the screen, Wall and Wilkins.
Yeah,
been impressed with the work of them.
Yeah, they seem to know what each other's thinking at the right times.
That one will drive its way through. So we will restart. 33 points to 3. All the threes on the board. You got enough threes on your scoreboard? Oh, you have, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
You used them all up though now. You got, you got no more threes.
No.
So Adcock will restart. Hangs that one up. That is, again, just a little bit too deep for Adcock to contest. And go back to Devine. Out to McKinley.
Oh.
Wall couldn't bring that one in. And Woodville will lose the chance to counter attack.
Must be getting close to time now.
Well, you think that? I mean, we did have one here where we went to nearly an hour for the first half. I hope we're not doing that again. It was a couple of years ago, and we were nearly at 60 minutes for the first half.
Actually, I think I was watching that one from Hong Kong.
Yeah,
so I was live streaming it from Hong Kong.
Certainly went
on the plane.
Certainly went on that first half.
It's more rugby, all good.
Well, yeah, I wonder whether we're in like a Bermuda Triangle of time down here. So Reynolds will look to put the ball in. Solid again. Out to Gatehouse. Tries to shake through the first tackle. Looks like they've held him up. Can he get to ground? He's got a nudge at least. I think that's going to be turned over. And that will be half time. So 33 points to 3. Onkaparinga made a little bit of hard work of it in the beginning of that first half, but seem to have settled into it now and have just eased through the gears and pushed away from Woodville. And then second half, they're going to have the benefit of the wind at the back.
Yeah, I think so. And yeah, it looks like Onkas have worked out what's required from Peter as the referee, and hopefully fixed everything up. And
it's certainly going to be a big day out for Mr. Jackson because he's got two of the more chatty captains in the league. We are going to go and take a short break. We will speak to you again when we come back for the second half. So we are now back. It's 33 points to 3. And my co-commentator is just running back. He's went for a refreshment break at half-time. So we are flying solo at the moment, but Lindsay Adcock will restart the second half. And one will hang in the air. He'll give Adcock a chance, his brother, a chance to bring it back, which he does. It does look like it's been turned over, but it's all very messy and was knocked on at the back, but there's a penalty coming. That one high, I think. Give Lindsay Adcock the chance to see what it's like kicking into this win for the first time. And tries it down to, I will save that for when Matt comes and sit next to me. We have a name for that group of supporters down there. Yeah, and so welcome back, Matt.
Thank you.
A little bit out of breath.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, we'd like set times for these half times. We never really know when they're going to come back. But Lindsay Adcock kicking into the teeth of the wind for the first time, and he's hit that gallery of supporters down there, and you named it.
Yes, that's the peanut gallery.
Like that. Lindsay Adcock will take the ball, and again it's messy off the top. Counter ruck coming from Onkaparinga, but again another penalty. She'll just allow Woodville to push down again into that towards the peanut gallery. I was here for the grand final last year in the Premier Reserves. Onkaparinga won that one, didn't they?
Yes, they did, yes.
And that place went absolutely insane at the final whistle.
Yeah, it sort of became it was just an outside bar, but it sort of became our token bar, I suppose. And
yeah. He didn't gain much from that penalty. Price again will just throw it standing. It's like old school. Reynolds is having a terrible time trying to just corral that ball in, and I think they have turned it over this time. Then it will come to Kinley, and Kinley will just put it on the left boot, just steer it over the top, and that will bounce into touch towards us. So right in front of us this line-out will be. We'll see what effect the wind has on best seats in the house for this line-out. It is a Woodville ball.
will we go to the front again?
I think you're going to have to, really. It didn't look straight to me.
No.
We did have the absolute best seats in the house for that. I think any time the second row goes with the outside arm, it kind of gives it away, doesn't it?
That's right.
But we also have great seats for this scrummage as well. See, he's now got both of the captains talking to him.
Yeah,
I thought that line out was one of the rare breakdowns that Snoop had nobody talk to him.
I don't know what they're talking about. I mean, it was a line out. It wasn't straight. It was seen.
Yeah.
We're having a scrum.
But both of them do love a chat. So he has to see Tommy Price go to work on Harding in front of us. Again, he's offside 9. Offside Troy. Oh, there we go.
Right, yeah.
So we've swapped ends, Pete.
Yeah, he's just picking up the ball in between the flanker and the lock.
Well, I don't know whether you saw it on the camera, but I had a really good look at Price versus Harding as, you know, understandably, McKinley just smashes it down the line.
Oh, yeah.
But I watched that battle between Harding and Price, and Price certainly got the better of it again. It's going to be a baptism of fire for the young man.
Yeah, he's a good kid, Harding. You know, he's only relatively young in his craft, but he takes it seriously. He's been doing quite well.
A little bit of movement over the top to Farsoa, off the back. Couldn't find McKinley, but Paczynski will go, and he'll just cough it up. Penalty though. Offside again. Out to Devine. Devine chopped down again. Now they will look out to that far side to Farsoa, who shakes off the first one and the second one. He will go over, try. That's his hat-trick. Classy young man.
Yeah, using a fen there, adding to the arsenal.
Probably the first time that we're going to talk about, well, it's certainly the first time I've talked about it this year, but I've been wrong every year. But he would have to be in the Dom Smith conversation, wouldn't he?
Oh, it's really hard for me to say because I don't see enough of the other clubs.
But as far as your club goes, is he head and shoulders every week that you see him?
Once again, hard to say. He's had a couple of weeks off, not huge amounts, but but he has had some injuries and a head knock that kept him out for the required amount of time and so on. So yeah, it's hard to say.
I mean, you are right. I mean, I've just seen him play 3 times, but every time I've seen him play, he's been absolutely outstanding, and the flags will go up from right out on the touchline for Troy Doughty.
But in saying all that, I hope that he is in the counts for all of those awards, both ours and the Don Smith.
So 40 points to 3. See whether Woodville can get another restart that hangs in the air and allows Lewis Adcock to get underneath it. Again, it will hang. It just sits around the 10. Lewis Adcock again will make a contest of it. And Unkers will come away with it. Devine this time sends it to White. White will offload back to Devine. Not held. Takiri will just take another yard. Onkaparinga happy now just to slow it down a little bit. Then they'll go back to Doughty. Doughty will put it on the foot. Charge down so everybody's onside. Of those onside people, one of them is Farsoa. He will give it to McKinley. McKinley should canter over from here. And Onkaparinga have started this second half like they mean business. Fitzgerald is down, but my word. You've got to be the first to react. As soon as that charge down came, everybody is onside, and Farsoa was the quickest to react. Draw, give, and McKinley will go over, but that's Farsoa's try.
Yeah, absolutely.
It looks like we've had changes as well at half time. I think we've got a new halfback. I think it's all changed around in that Onkaparinga back line. I just need to keep an eye on it. Doughty will stroke that one over and send it halfway down to Victor Harbour. And they've broken the 50-point barrier. Oh, not quite, 47.
No, 47.
Well, there's definitely been a change at hooker. I can see Liam Smith is on.
That wind's just picked up for this kick-off now.
It's not going to make it. So we'll come back to midfield for a scrum, and we can probably get a look at what's going on with this Onkaparinga backline.
Yeah, looks like
Is it?
Caden O'Neill.
Yeah, Liam Wall has come off. Caden O'Neill has gone into halfback. So Doughty's probably gone to first 5. McKinley into second 5. No change for the wingers, no change at fullback. Look straight down the line of this one. It'll be interesting to see this battle between Price and Harding. Almost bang on halfway. He's just managing to get him completely off balance almost straight away. Forcing him inside, but Mr. Jackson's over this side now, so we'll see whether there's anything that's, he'll see whether there's anything illegal going on. Well,
Yeah.
I think most referees guess with with the front row, to be honest. Again, it just made an absolute mess of it, but I think he's got him for driving in. Front rowers hate it when referees tell them what they've done. If looks could kill.
Yeah, exactly. He had a look, didn't he?
And McKinley having a think about it. I think he did have a think about it, but now he's just going to go and look. There's a very helpful Onkaparinga fan down in that far corner, waving at him. Again, just about on the 22. You just, as soon as his body turns, you just see Tommy he looks like he's driving inwards. Inwards and upwards. So it will be an Onkaparinga line-out. It's probably no threat of a driving maul from here. They've only gone to the 4 anyway. Not straight. Could see that from my end. So you'd think Woodville will take the scrum. And we'll have a resumption of the battle between Harding and Price. Don't think we're likely to see Mr. Jackson go around the other side of the scrum for a while.
Not right now.
Is it me or is that wind from our backs now?
It's picked up, but it's still coming from the north.
So see whether we can keep an eye on this between these two. Price just locks himself out on that one. Gatehouse looks for a little bit of space over the top. Devine has covered it well. Can't run away from Gatehouse though. White will pick it up. Gatehouse will make another tackle. Doughty puts boot to ball, manages to find its way through, and he'll just push them back, this time inside the 22, and then we'll see another lineup. You wonder whether, because Doughty's tactical kicking is probably some of the best in the league.
Yep.
So, half time with the wind at his back, is it a tactical change to bring Caden O'Neill on and allow Doughty to just drive the bus around the field?
Quite possibly. I mean, but he knows this ground. So you now got 2 kicking options with Kurt McKinley and Troy, and it's just about getting into our own half and where we want to be, I suppose.
I'm not entirely sure what happened with that lineup. I think they both came down with hands on. Sure which way. It's going to be an Onkaparinga ball. And that is certainly danger zone for Woodville. Already seen one driving maul. I think there's been a change for Woodville at prop as well, because I can see Graham Gibson on the sideline. So Smith will put the ball into the lineup. They'll go to 2. Devine will bring it down. Maul will form around him. And they have got it going. Have they got it at the back? I think they're over the line, and there goes the hand up. Another try, another driving maul. See whether we can see who comes up with it. Liam Smith will come up with it. So he'll get one. See, Caleb Whitten has come on as well now.
Very good.
Straight through the middle of it. Ball will come to the back to Smith, and then he's just head down and over the line he goes. Just fractured the Woodville defence. He's 100% from out there at the moment. Let's see whether he can keep that going. Sends it on its way. Looks good for mine, and the flags go up. He's had a good day with the boot.
Well, you know, even though that wind is coming from the north, it's still going to be a struggle to get it for accuracy.
54 points to 3. The 55 minutes gone. It's looking like it's going to be a long day in the office for the boys from Gleneagles. Well, they say Gleneagles, they haven't been there all year. They've are getting their clubhouse redone.
Yeah, I really wish them all the best with it. I hope.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I hope they get back to having a clubhouse and doing the things that clubs do to help them make money over the bar and so on.
Oh, Devine has managed to shake through. Now he's 2-on-1. We'll send it to O'Neill. Can O'Neill run away? Yes, O'Neill can. And Caden O'Neill will come on and he will score. It's all starting to be a little bit too easy for Onkaparinga. Just going to look behind me. I don't know whether we've had a 100-point game, a 100-point broadcast game. I don't remember one.
I'm not 100%.
But they are starting to threaten it because they're going to hit 60 shortly. Just offloads and a little bit of fatigue coming in for Woodville. And then O'Neill will run away. And Doughty will tack on the extras. 61 points to 3. Less than an hour gone. So Woodville will restart. And again we'll hang. So Bluey is on. A big shout to Bluey, put him in the right place. To Kiri, trying to find his arms free.
Well, Jared used to play out here as a junior. So
Oh, that must have been a while ago.
Yes.
No, be nice to him.
he's fondly remembered from most of the Onka crowd.
I think it's, if you meet Bluey once, you fondly remember him.
Yes.
Doughty showed it and decided that he was going to keep hold of it. Takiri will stand in at halfback. Oh, nice offload to Farsoa. Couldn't quite get away, and that one went forward. So we're going to come back for, sounded like a penalty whistle, and I think it's probably going to be offside again. Yep. So it's given McKinley a fairly decent angle to work with. There's Farsoa, who's slow to get up in the middle. It's very ginger. We went back down again. He's holding on to his foot like it's cramp. I hope that's all it is. Decides to go clubhouse side again, and he'll just let that one go. Jeez. You know, Kurt McKinley must wake up in the morning and see that wind and just think, great. he's probably the only one who drove to this ground not bothered by the wind today. So inside the 22, Onkaparinga lineup.
I used to play with his dad, and his dad was a front rower when I was playing with him, but he was an ex-back. And as a front rower, every now and then he'd kick one out of side as well.
He's a Kiwi, isn't he, by heritage?
Well, certainly
Kurt
his father
McKinley,
was.
yeah.
Certainly his father was. I'm not 100%.
Certainly seen him on social media. He's definitely all about the All Blacks.
Oh, yeah.
He hasn't quite bought into the Wallaby
that's right.
tradition. But to play any sport in South Australia with a left leg that big and not have succumbed to the dark side.
Yeah, that's right.
We are pleased to have him. So Bluey will feed it into the scrum. And to Gatehouse. Gatehouse will put the ball to boot. Fitzgerald will have to go and get it. Gatehouse will clean up his own kick. Counter ruck is okay, but Hunt will tidy it up. Takes on Smith and has it pickpocketed. First knock on is against Woodville, so it will be an Onkaparinga scrum. Again around the 22. So we just saw on screen there the number 13, Mellis, who had a day out when we saw them up at Elizabeth. Just haven't been able to get anything going on the front foot today. And that's Matthew Connor taking his taking a rest. The battle will resume between Price and Harding. Just to go digging for it, has a couple of goes at it, O'Neill, but finally gets it. Doughty round the back to Van Asvegen, and Van Asvegen looking for a little bit of space, dragged down and loses it, but it's managed to end up in the hands of an Onkaparinga player, and they will score again. It's like Caden O'Neill with his second one.
Again, yes.
So Onkaparinga now looking at the possibility of 2 hat-tricks out there on the field. Not entirely sure what happened. The ball got dislodged in the tackle from Fitzgerald, and Caden O'Neill was there and tidied it up. That is Rebecca Shelton. Oh, it's not Rebecca Shelton. That's who's the fella who takes your photos every week?
That's Ken.
Some wonderful photos, and find their way around Facebook.
Yes.
On the Sunday. Flags will go up again. Is it him who writes your match reports as well?
No, that's Bobby Atkin.
They're always fun to read.
Yes.
Lots of nicknames and
yeah,
descriptive language most of the time.
He does a lot of work around our club, Bob. He's obviously, he writes that report, but he helps with the managing. He's really our registrar as well.
Another kick-off for Woodville. They've had some practice with that today. Caden O'Neill had a look, but there was a whistle. There must have been a knock-on. And it'll be a Woodville scrum. Lots of room out to this near side. So Adcock has moved to number 8. Gatehouse pulls it out the back to Lindsay Adcock. Flat ball to Fitzgerald, but lost it. Then he will pick it up and go and try and find a little bit of room. Lost his footing again. Half made the tackle for Takiri, and now Woodville will look to build something. Arm has come out in their favour as well. Bluey knew the penalty was coming. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He's really got to try and drive it as far as he can through the wind. It's a good kick in the conditions, that.
Yeah, it was pretty true, really.
So we have crossed the hour, 68 points to 3. Will be a Woodville line-up. Wasn't what they designed, but it worked. Burn out to Gatehouse. Gatehouse almost had it stolen. Does finally manage to get to ground. Then we'll leave it and pick it up and go again. I've got numbers out to this near side if they can get it out there. They've turned it into a maul. Can Onkaparinga keep it up? Turn it over. If it goes to ground, it will be an Onkaparinga ball. And there it is. So this is where it will become difficult because you've put all the work in, you've got inside the 22. If Onkaparinga can win this scrum, you know it's going back.
Yeah,
whether it's off the boot of Doughty or whether it's off the boot of McKinley, this one will find its way back towards the Woodville posts. Van Aswegen just taking a knee. Talking about people coming back from injury, he was a young man who 2 years ago we thought wasn't going to play again. Copped a nasty jaw break.
Yeah, quite similar to the Kurt McKinley thing where he certainly copped a head clash in a tackle situation and had some fractures from that as well, I believe.
Yeah, his was worse. I know there was a lot of concern, and doctors were very, very worried about him possibly coming back and doing it again. But I think the jaw knitted quite well and allowed him to make a comeback.
Yeah, I mean, as a player and just seeing it around our sport, I find that doctors in this state tend to think of rugby as being a lot harsher than what it really is, and so when they go to see these doctors, they give them news like you'll never play again.
You'll never play again.
Yeah, this sort of stuff without actually understanding our sport. I don't think that'll change in a hurry in this state, but
well, we're certainly starting to be seen on a national level. South Australia is obviously Eva Kapani, who has an affiliation with Onkaparinga. I think
she did play.
She played here a little bit.
Women's team at one stage before going down to Brighton.
Officially a starter in green and gold now.
Yeah, no, it's good to see, both for her and for the state in general, and hopefully inspires other females in our sport to know how far they can go and even further.
Caden O'Neill will put the ball into the scrum. Woodville again, they have won the battle of the scrummage, we'll give them that. Van Aswegen, he'll chip it into the middle. Oh, it nearly found its way. Just didn't bounce up for him. Quite see who it is. Who's the number 20?
Yeah, I think that's Dylan Stanford.
Just didn't sit up for him, did it? It was interesting.
It could be Tom Murray.
Interesting from Van Aswegen because he will have seen, as we did, Woodville really starting to push back, thinking that the long kick was on, and it may have left a lot of space between the defensive lines. Be a Woodville scrum. I think we're all changing the Onkaparinga backs.
Yeah, that's Dylan at the back there.
Hunt to Gatehouse. Gatehouse will just go straight, held up by Takiri and Van Aswegen. It's not going to get to ground this time, I don't think. And again, that's going to be an Onkaparinga ball, whatever happens here. So it will go down. No one needs to let him go. No one needs to roll away. And it will be an Onkaparinga scrum. No penalty.
Oh.
It's A little bit of dissent from Lewis Adcock throwing the ball away. So no McKinley anymore. Van Astwegen will have been waiting for this opportunity. Woodville player slow to get up. So we had a difficult. It's been a difficult day for Woodville, but this is an interesting one because you played Port Adelaide last week.
Yes, that's right.
Big score, but we did talk before the game how it was close up until half time, and I know the talk around.
They really took it to us, and they turned up with a team that where a lot of those players had backed up from second.
Well, they've gone quickly. Now they're out to this near side. Matthews, he's going to try and get away. Steps back inside 2. Doesn't get away from Hunt. Support will come. Caden O'Neill will have a look. Send it to Van Astwegen. Then another flat ball. Then to Devine, but too flat. Forward. Yeah, the talk around Port Adelaide, and again on social media you saw it going around, the vast majority of those grade players played 2 games last week.
Yeah.
It's always going to push you to your limits.
Effort. Really gutsy effort. I mean, we want to see Woodville, we want to see Port, we want to see Elizabeth in our competition, and hats off to them for coming out and making an effort and taking it to us for as long as they could.
So that was you put 60 points on the board last weekend, put 60 points on the board this weekend. With all due deference to Barossa, you go to them next week.
Yep.
That on paper should be yours. You have to wonder whether that's great preparation for Brighton at Brighton.
Yeah, look, that's going to be our yardstick. Obviously, we want to be playing as many quality teams as we can on our way into finals, and that's obviously preferable. But it is what it is. It's not our draw. We just play to it.
So another Woodville scrum. Change of opponent for Tom Price. Big John. Hit and driven backwards at the line, at the gain line.
Yeah, we've got our big human on now.
It's a huge amount of human, but a lovely bloke when you speak to him.
Oh yeah.
Out to Gatehouse again, who will lose that one forward, but it was high over the shoulder. Things have just slowed down. There has been wholesale changes. I think they've made all 8 of them now. Well, that does look like Doughty moving back towards halfway. So Woodville will have a line out inside their own half. Again, they look for the short one. Free kick to Woodville. Bluey will go. And we'll hand it to Adcock. A little bit isolated, but the support gets there just in time. Yeah, not rolling away. I thought the jackal was okay. There was no ruck formed at the time he got his hands on. Again, if looks could kill, he has a long look at the assistant referee. So it'll be another Woodville line-up. tried everything they can to just try and fix and work against this wind. Again, that probably wasn't what was planned, but it worked. Bluey will send it out to Ryan Gatehouse, who has a look, doesn't like any of his options, so just puts his head down. Adcock will pick and go. Another little pick and drive. Counter ruck comes, but sealing off, so Bluey will go. Shows the dummy as well. Runs into the teeth of the Onkaparinga defence, but makes good yardage. Starting to put some phases together, Woodville. Just taking it off in little chunks at the moment. And it will come out to Gatehouse. And he gets met by Farsoa. Fitzgerald will take a couple of yards off. Get them back to almost where they were. Tom Price will chew off another couple of metres, and then Adcock will go. Certainly the best phase of rugby that the boys in green and gold have put together. Gatehouse. This time he does get to ground, and now they can get going again. Standing from Hunt. Out to Adcock. Manages to get it off the ground. Hunt again. Strong from Hunt. Brought down eventually by Smith. They edge closer and closer and closer. Be nice to see them get over.
Yeah, it would.
It looks like they've been stood up. They're going to have to work really, really hard to get this back on their side. Think they've managed it though. They have. Again, they'll have a sniff down that near side. Can't quite get there. And Byrne will send it over the top to Mellis. Mellis out the back to Guest. Guest is met strongly. Still going. Bluey sends it to Adcock. Adcock met by a couple. Clean out is good. Byrne again has to go. It's been stolen.
Lost possession.
Price comes around the side. There's no way that's okay. And there's a little bit of discussion afterwards. Kedden O'Neill deciding he's going to fight the big dog. Tommy Price not interested at all. Another conversation. The old it was out. There was a little bit of afters, but nothing serious. Wanted to go quick, but Mr. Jackson not ready. It does manage to find its way into touch. Just around halfway.
Let's go, get set early.
Here's Liam Smith. Whatever product he had in his hair to give him that hairstyle before has gone away, and he's
Fighting the wind with it now.
just normal dreadlocks now. Not straight, but it doesn't matter because it's going to be Woodville who come away with it.
Oh,
It's a penalty for offside.
yeah, back's coming up.
Oh, that is, yeah. Again, trademark Alex Rockabura, but that is a coach killer. He turned it over, you won the line out. You've been on the front foot for the last sort of 5-6 minutes. And that's about as good as it gets from Van Aswegen. Oh,
I'll come back for a scrum.
looked good for mine. Referee makes the decision. But it'll be a Woodville scrum. What's Big John's surname?
Ferretti.
Ferretti. Might see him on the doors in Adelaide. Is he still doing the doors?
Yeah, he still works for a security firm.
I've seen him a couple of times, and he's an imposing sight.
Absolutely. But like you said, an absolute gentleman.
Oh, an absolute gentle giant. So Byrne had options to this near side, decides against them. We'll go to Gatehouse. Gatehouse. Again, we'll take the line out, and again, it's gone forward from Gatehouse, and Onkaparinga can go again. Go they do. Decides to prop and stop over on that far side. Van Aswegen. Oh, has it intercepted by Gatehouse. Now it's a foot race. Only person who's going to cause him any sort of problem is Riley Matthews, and I think the only thing he's going to be able to do is stop him making the kick easier. But 6 of one, half a dozen the other, and they do get over. And Gatehouse will get the probably only try of the day for Woodville. Let's see whether we can see it. Yeah, just telegraphed a little bit, and off goes Gatehouse. Riley Matthews made him work for it though, didn't he?
Yeah.
Acres of space. You can see him want to slow down and canter in. And Matthews is like, nah, you're going to work every single step of this one. Flags go up, and that will be, well, it's 68 points to 10. We are in red time. Don't remember being the huge amount of stoppages in the second half. Yeah, Van Aswegen just telegraphing that pass into midfield, and be an interesting day if we bookend the day with 2 interception tries.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Shadows are stretched all the way across, and Onkaparinga, for the second or the third time today, will restart. Good kick, found absolutely nowhere really. Nobody was anywhere near it. And Woodville will have a pretty large mountain to climb, but they get a penalty. Bluey wants to go, and does go. Takes on Matthews. It's the penalty. Not back 10, with his body on the line for it. So Lindsay Adcock will look to drive it into touch. Been impressed with all the kicking today in these conditions.
Yeah. Against the wind, some of these kicks have still been quite straight and true.
Oh, our ball did not want to come down. It's still up there. So Woodville lineup. Oh, and they've decided to go to the back as well. So Byrne, then it will come all the way across. Out to Mellis. Mellis looked for a little bit of room inside, and there was none there. Bluey again. Oh, that's a wonderful pickup from Lewis Adcock. Not sure whether the arm was out. Bluey wants to go again. He's having a ball, isn't he?
He knew he had advantage. He took the tap before the whistle had even gone.
He decided it was a penalty before Snoop did. He loves rugby, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
So Adcock again drives it. It'll be right in front of us, and we will have another line-up. Bringing out all the tricks at the end of this game, Woodville. There's a thing you just heard Tommy Price say, you've got to throw it straight now. It's on camera. I think the wind's got that one. They're going to play on though. We'll have the advantage to Devine. Again, looks to get his hands free. Does get his hands free to Ferretti. It's a good tackle in the end. O'Neill. Out to Van Aswegen. He'll pull it out the back to Wilkins. Wilkins will step a couple. Can he get away from the third? He gets away. The offload and Onkaparinga.
Jason Chambers
will score again. Take them past 70 points. Troy Wilkins, who's really maturing for mine as a winger.
Yeah, and he doesn't try and do all the work himself. Does team up with whoever's inside or outside him.
Well, that's always going to be the challenge as you reach, you won't like me for this, but as you reach the autumn of your career, because he's got to be one of the most experienced wingers. I mean, he was playing around back when I was playing, still playing A grade, but as you just lose your edge a little bit and lose your pace, the other parts of your game have got to come in. I'm really impressed with how he's gone as he moves through his career, and that will be that. That will be 75 points to 10. Onkaparinga just cruising really, as we thought they would, as they start their march towards post-season. Woodville, certainly they'll be looking towards Premiership 2, I think it's going to be called.
Yeah, I guess so. But you know, Woodville still took it to Onkaparinga, I feel, especially in the forwards, and you know, the score lines don't always show how tough the games are. So
there were some good patches there, but Onkaparinga, like we said, just cruising their way through. Faso was impressive today, and Doughty and McKinley, as per usual, just got the job done. Ladies and gentlemen, from a very blustery Wilfred Taylor reserve, from me, Dave Webb, and Matt Whitten, thank you very much for joining us. We will see you next week.